Hello and welcome to episode 208 of the Misanthropod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by Tactica Imperialis.
Hello everyone. Welcome, this is Tactica Imperialis, and welcome to this newest episode of Adeptus Podcastus. No, that is 2 counts of do not adjust your set. You are not, in fact, listening to Adeptus you are listening to Adeptus Podcastus. You are not listening to the Misanthropod. Remleys is not here. He is not well due to the bounds of Nurgle, and as ever, when you need help, you get your cover teachers in. And so, of course, I have invited Snipe and Wib to join me. But Snipe and Wib, being the gremlins that they are, decided that they would hijack our podcast and turn it into this Misanthropod.
Oh, we're naughty, aren't we? We're so naughty.
Because when we come on under normal circumstances, we've never derailed the podcast.
I personally haven't, never have, not even to see what it feels like, even once.
Not even once?
No. Not even just to see.
No, I've also got Baby with me, who apparently is becoming a bit of a podcaster celebrity, judging by the comments.
We love Baby.
What was my favourite? Well, was one who was like, the baby noises are adorable, stop apologising, she's practically a host in her own right.
Youngest and coolest and cutest podcast host ever.
So yes, that's where we stand. It is the 27th of September. We apologise that the last episode was out. I think it came out a teensy bit late. It's no problem. I think probably just an editing thing. Just as a bit slow getting through. But we have plenty up for discussion, as of course it is a new news cycle. But I was very surprised when I went on to Warhammer Community this evening to go and access said news. Because the Warhammer Community website has had a massive facelift. And I say facelift in a very loose sense of the word.
In a way that they've made it so there are no pores visible, and it's a bit uncanny valley.
It's a very bland overhaul. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I can't say I looked at it and it's like, oh, we've got a new website, and I'm like, and you're bragging about that? Okay.
I mean, you're allowed to brag about having a new look and a new website. You're allowed. Games Workshop. That's nothing wrong with that. But it's funny because we were just saying before we started that I think one or both of you was on the podcast when they revamped the main Warhammer site from gamesworkshop.com to warhammer.com, and a lot of the things that were said in that video about warhammer.com can pretty much be repeated here about the new look Warhammer community.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfectly functional, just very boring, especially for such a creative and exciting and vibrant hobby. It's just like, what if we had aerial and white backgrounds? Don't know why it's
have you know it's not Arial because this font is serifed.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, I will say, like, the white background and plain boring serif text is nothing new. Like, the old Warcom also looked like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it's not, like they've completely ground up rebuilt it. And more of it, I suspect, is functionality in terms of making it easier to find things. Because I can say, on the old website, if you wanted to go find an old article and actually access something, your voice says all you need to know, particularly if it was on something niche, like if it was on Heresy or particularly Old World. Actually, it was really hard to find stuff for Old World.
I remember finding stuff for Legions could always be a bit of a pain because it was like lumped in with just regular Heresy stuff as well. So
yes, so from a filtering to find stuff perspective, I do think it is a substantive improvement.
Oh yeah,
just
credit where it's
not
due,
the little bar at the top where it has
one.
all the different games in there is actually like a bit nicer to navigate than it used to be, because that used to
you
be...
can't scroll it though. Well, maybe it's just my computer. You can't scroll.
You have to press the left or the right arrow.
Oh, you can grab it and drag it.
Oh, you can grab it.
You can grab it and drag. I'm doing it right now.
Redeemed.
I wish.
Redeemed.
You know what? Okay, Warhammer community. I know you are listening, Jonathan Warhammer community. I know you are. I want to be able to do that feature on every image. So the picture of the sexy guy where he's got the suit and like the tape
James
measure.
Workshop.
Yeah, James Workshop. I want to pick him up and shake him with my mouse cursor. That's my only, like, you can have it as bland as you want, that's fine, but let me do that, and you'll have a fan for life of this particular website layout.
I don't know how to tell you
and
this,
I
but
mean,
you can just download the image and then make it into a PNG, and you can do whatever you want to it then.
I thought you were going to go, I don't mean to, like, startle you, but you could just walk to, like, Warhammer World, find this man and shake him. I don't want to... I mean, I'd shake his hand.
I think he used to be a wrestler, so I wouldn't advise it.
Shit, do you think he'd fight me in the car park? That would be so cool. James Workshop, please respond. Now I just wait for the podcasters to go live.
So, yeah, I'm just reading through the actual article. Hey, look at this is all the things we've done. So you can favorite articles to access stuff easily. That's a win. You can filter much better, as we've already said, which is technically a win. There are notifications built in, apparently. Not that I really think that's necessary. And finally, you can actually get a dedicated site in other languages.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, they're kicking off with a pile of German content. So in the upper right corner of the screen, there's a flag that lets you choose region, and that actually, well, it's currently American, German, and English, but it's a start.
You switch it to American, and
The
it just
three
spells colour
languages.
incorrectly.
I would love it if that was true.
It's a start, but so they're actually doing Warcom in other languages, which is a win.
No, that's
and should
cool.
definitely not be discounted. I don't know if they needed to rebuild the site from the ground up to improve the search bar and put it in other languages. And I also really hope that they've actually got someone to write it in other languages instead of using Google Translate or an AI translator, because that's just lazy
It's awful.
and will be wrong. But, you know, we live in hope that GW is not completely lazy. Unfortunately, I don't speak German. If it was in French, I'd probably read it myself just to see if it made sense. But I don't speak German.
If it was in Spanish, I'd have a fighting try. But I've just tried it in German, and it's like, German isn't a real language. Oh, there we go.
Germanic is a
is
very
working.
different. It's a very different set of languages, the Germanics, to other stuff. So yeah, I can't.
It seems decent. I mean, as someone who doesn't speak German, it seems fine to me. So it probably is fine.
You speak a bit of German.
Very badly.
Well, you're allowed.
Thank you.
So yes, that's a thing. But while we could make a bunch of stylistic gripes all day, I don't really see the need. It's more just a, hey, this is a thing. Love it or loathe it. It is what it is. To be fair, as someone who needs to scan the news quickly, it makes it quicker for scanning the news because there's more articles in one place and there's no like filler text getting in the way.
Yeah.
So it makes finding the news and getting back through things for podcasters a bit easier. So I'll take that as a win.
I think that's it. I think it's like in actual utility, it does seem honestly to be a bit better than the old one. It just is aesthetically kind of
I think
whatever.
If they've updated their website and the worst we can say about it is it's a bit boring looking, I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, honestly. It's not like when, the main Warhammer website changed and it was basically unusable.
Hear a thing. No, wrong one. That one. There we go. I can hear again now.
Welcome back.
Indeed. So, what's actually going on in this new look Warhammer community world? What can you now see and what is available? And I think I'm actually going to start... I normally go to the back and work forwards, but I'm actually going to start at the front and work backwards because you mentioned Legions Imperialis, Web. Mechanicum.
Yeah. Now, all I'll say is that I have because I've just been really bad at painting for the last year. So I haven't actually got round to finishing all of my existing Legions Imperialis stuff. But if I had, then I would be eyeing this Mechanicum battle group very hungrily. More hungrily than I currently am.
Yes, it's one of those of, it's not I don't want it, it's I need to do everything else first. Yeah. Because we're actually disciplined hobbyists.
Well, I'm not sure I'd go that far, but...
No. Oh, they are pretty, though.
And it's worth noting, they've said that every single heresy miniature will be an Imperialis and vice versa. So if there's anything here that doesn't look like it's in full scale yet, it will be.
Yeah, no, it looks... Because having done quite... I've though I haven't finished the stuff I've got, I have painted a lot of it. And like the quality of the miniatures, because I know some people were a bit like iffy about some of them when they first released, because there's a lot of like things that are in there purely because of molding reasons, like things filled in and stuff. But they are minuscule, so you literally do not notice them when they're on the table. But the level of actual detail on the individual models is kind of ridiculous, and looking at some of these, it looks like, yes, that is not changing.
Yes, I actually did some. I 4 years ago, when I moved to where the town I currently live, I bought a pack of the Barracuda Aeronautica Imperialis tiny planes, and I actually did a bit of painting on them during the summer holidays. And I was like, I am going to lose so much detail here painting these, and I've got half decent brushes. I was just like, this is impossible. There's no way I'm going to be able to paint this.
They're really, really detailed miniatures. I stand by the statement that the Thunderhawk that was originally released for Aeronautica, and now they've reboxed for Legions. That thing is one of the nicest to put together, like most well-designed miniatures I have ever put together. Like everything, because normally when you've got to effectively build a box out of plastic pieces, there's going to be something that's not quite there, and so there's a little bit of a gap somewhere, and you can fill it in, you can fix it. There's a million ways around it, but this just all slotted perfectly together in a way I was just like, oh, that's good, you know.
That is really good. Yeah.
And that's kind of my experience of this. The new epic scale has been mostly like that, and it's the designers have earned their paycheck, shall we say.
Yes, and I believe there's even some new minis in here, or maybe I just didn't pay enough attention to Heresy Thursday, because you get something called Archmagi on Abeyance, as well as some Myrmidon hosts, and I don't recognise that little crawler thing, which is the Archmagus.
With the little pinchy.
Yeah, I don't recognise that mini from full scale. I'm going to be wrong.
It looks absolutely adorable. It looks so cool.
Yes, I'm sure there'll be people using it as like servo skull tokens and things like that, or objective markers and things like that. It's like, oh, capture the baby tech priest, it'll be cute.
I'm just very happy that finally there's an Ursarax that I might actually be able to justify buying one day, because I love those things. But
yes,
I
also,
don't play
Remnants
Heresy.
will be happy. There's Vorax. There are Vorax. And also something brand new that's never been done before, which is the Arlatax Battle Automata getting their first miniature ever. I don't know which ones they are, whether it's the pack of 3 on a base or the running jumpy ones with the claws. I'm guessing it's the little pack of 3, because Vorax, I think, are the big runny jumpy ones with claws. They sound like Vorax to me. But I am nowhere near good enough to actually know the difference. And you've also got the Vulturax Stratos Automata, which is looks a lot like the bloat drones of Nurgle forces, if you remember from Space Marine.
Yeah, I've always loved those as like just from a purely design thing of when they first like started showing up, and it's like, oh, so that's where bloat drones came from, like canonically, because obviously they're the same basic thing. And it's like,
there's nothing Chaos has that isn't bastardized Imperial tech unless it's a demon engine. And even then, half the time.
Yeah, no, I've always loved them for that reason. They fill a little niche that I didn't know I wanted filling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, these are fantastic. And if I were a little faster at painting, I would be in danger with this thing's release.
Yes, well, something that may not be in danger, but a nearly as full box, and something that, to be honest, I don't know if anyone... I knew everyone was expecting something, but I don't think people were expecting quite this. After the Nova preview, where they showed off a sort of Hill Tribesman Middle-earth miniature, they decided to do a full-on, obviously, new edition box game for the War of the Rohirrim anime. So you've got 56 minis in a box with some classic Rohan houses, and what have you got? Princes of Rohan, warriors, Dunlendings, and all sorts of different stuff. And I know we're talking about Middle-earth in segment 3. What does that tell you?
Yeah. No, it is a really full box. Like I was a little surprised to see it because I know that I've often made the joke that there is no such thing as people playing a game of the Lord of the Rings game. There's just people who have collected armies of it who are desperately seeking another player, and no one has ever actually played a game of it. But this is obviously not true because the fact that this game is still going and is still viable enough to be able to release things like this, of like them all being plastic as well, which obviously that's a bigger commitment for them to do, to make actual plastic molds for them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, no, it's actually, and the minis look really cool as well. Like, I can imagine that that this is going to be quite good news for those handful of Middle-earth players that
let's be honest,
have never found another person to play with.
Yeah, Middle-earth players are starving. Let's be honest. Yeah. They needed this meal.
I'm just still shocked the game's still going, honestly. Because normally licensed stuff doesn't last long because of the nature of licenses. So the fact it's still going strong is always kind of a little bit fascinating to me. Not fascinating enough to ever play it, but, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, the minis themselves, I used to have a small force of Rohan. Like, I had the old Metalaemer when they redid him to be, like, sideways on a pretty much flat mould in, like, the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
And I had some Warriors of Rohan. And well, no, I didn't have any Warriors. I just had some Riders of Rohan. But they've redone the Warriors and introduced a couple of new characters, the Sons of Helm Hammerhand and some Dunlending stuff as well. And I will say the Hill Tribesmen that they've done to represent the Dunlendings, if you're a Chaos player and you're playing Dark Oath and you want some Chaos Marauders and things like that, that's a win.
Oh, yeah, you're laughing.
I mean, they will all look slightly too short, but...
Are they different scale?
Yeah.
Why have I only just learnt that today?
Yeah, all the Middle-earth stuff is slightly smaller scale than Warhammer.
Oh. Whoops.
I think it's actually like I don't know if this is true, but I was always led to believe it was like part of the thing of it because they don't want you intermingling this with Warhammer stuff.
Oh dear.
And that's why they've done it. So it means that it keeps the brands separate. And I think it was actually, I don't know if it's like a contractual thing they had to do that, but yeah.
Okay, I learned something new today.
I will say that Wolf.
I am staring at this model and I am very into it. Honestly,
because there's the version of him on the horse and off the horse. The one where he's off the horse, he does look like his legs he's been hit by a toxin dart that has paralyzed his legs and he is mid falling forward.
Okay, maybe don't shame him for wounds received in battle.
It's some new Urukai poison.
Yeah. No, I was like, my first thoughts when I saw him on the back of the horse was that looks like Yennefer from The Witcher 3. And that's a massive compliment because she is a babe. So you go, Wolf. You look absolutely slay, darling.
General Targ looks fairly fun as well.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he looks
that's
really
the pose.
Cool.
So I was just saying about that Metalaemer. His mounted mini is in that exact pose. The old Metalaemer. That's the pose of the old Metalaemer, basically, that I had. So yeah, you also get the classic Rohan houses, modular terrain kit, apparently.
It does look very cute.
Indeed. So there's plenty of stuff here if it interests you, but as we just said, because of the different scale, the ability to translate from being a hobbyist in the other games to this is not as easy, and there'll be less people dipping in and out to pick up conversion minis or anything like that. Also, there isn't a single Rider of Rohan in this box, and that disappoints me.
That is weird.
Like, everyone's infantry apart from the heroes. Which is a little odd. But
I don't know much about it. I think the first game of Warhammer-esque kind of stuff, a GW product I ever played was Middle-earth. And I played with some of the worst people you have ever heard of. That were basically like, I get to roll all these dice, and I've beaten you. And I was like, I don't know what character I'm playing. And they'd be like, okay, idiot. And I was like, okay. And then, they thrashed me. And I was like, well, I guess I hate this. And now I don't. So, that's a character arc for you.
Yeah, that says everything it needs to.
Mm-hmm. But no, these honestly look really pretty. are very interesting.
Oh, I just had a look up, and the way it's I've seen some people refer to it as that Lord of the Rings is close to 25mm as opposed to the 28mm sort of heroic scale.
Right, fair enough.
Some things will look fine next to each other, obviously, because the scale in Warhammer is not consistent. But you know,
No.
I've noticed it tends to be a bit more realistically proportioned than a lot of Warhammer stuff as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that is fair. However, if you are craving some more Warhammer minis that are of a proper scale, because, you know, you don't like the epic scale and you actually want to play on the 40k AOS scale, then you need only wait a short period of time, for on the 5th of October at 5 p.m. British Standard Time, or your regional equivalent, there will be the Warhammer Day preview, with reveals for 40k AOS Kill Team, Legions and Underworld, so plenty going on. And they're very much saying this is the year of chaos, so I'm not sure exactly what that's going to entail, but I suspect that there will be Skaven, there will be Slanesh, because I think this is where we get the Emperor's Children drop, or the full... they haven't done the Chaos Space Marine Codex yet for 10th, or have they? Yes, they have. So they can't really do much more with Chaos, apart from, you know, drop Emperor's Children, but considering Angron's not that old, I don't know if they will. Kill Team's got a brand new edition, so Gods only knows. And yeah, I can't wait to see what they actually drop here, because I thought we were done with Skaven. Now they've got all their minis for AOS 4. Maybe they're getting the Underworld's Warband.
Yeah. I just love the little bomb Skaven, who's a cute little baby. And he's precious and wonderful, and I love him. Well, I mean, as someone who's just started putting together a Khorne Berserker combat patrol, which I am loving so far, honestly. I am very interested to see what they've got in store for just chaos in general, because it's always fun to see.
Yes, they've also said the commemorative mini is Zarketh, Bane of Law, a chaos sorcerer. So that will be an interesting to see what that looks like. They haven't actually revealed that yet.
My brain has just gone, Zarketh, the rules lawyer. That's how that feels. Like, obviously that's not what they mean. I don't think, but I'm very interested to see
the opposite.
Yeah, he's like, haha, well, actually.
We've already got a rules lawyer anyway. It's that one Caradron Overlord model where he's looking at all the books and he's got a library on his back.
Oh, God,
yes, I know the one you mean. If you refer to subclause 4A of Article 12B of the Caradron Agreement, I think you will... Caradron Code, sorry. I think you'll find that actually, that the fact that I got to shoot you in the face is completely legal and I will face no financial repercussions. Thank you, good day, blam.
And just shoots you in the face in real life. Love it.
Rules lawyers.
If I had one of those, I would absolutely paint every one of those books to be an allusion to a literal book we've got on our shelf. So it's probably a good job that I don't have that miniature, because I would lose my life and sanity to it.
Yes, indeed. But if you want to lose your sanity in a different way, then you could go... I was just mentioning Emperor's Children, and we got a full interview about the Eidolon novel, The Auric Hammer.
Oh, yes.
Now, it's interesting because, as the article refers to, Eidolon was always sort of the problem child of the Emperor's Children, not in a lore sense, but in a fan-base sense. Because, you know, Saul Tarvitz was the good guy, Lucius is in 40k, and Eidolon's just kind of there.
He's hanging out, it's fine.
Like, he's the leader of the Cacophony, he's very important, he's important with Fulgrim and all this sort of thing, but it's kind of just, he's always been the sort of black sheep in the corner. He's incredibly unlikable.
I mostly know him just from the novel Fulgrim, so yes, very unlikable.
Yes. Also, Fulgrim kills him and he comes back from the dead, apparently.
So he's like really awkward and annoying as well.
Indeed. So yes, the one thing you do get to say is that he at least holds on to it. And actually, there's a reference made to Josh Reynolds' Clone Lord novel. And you don't normally see... This interview is really interesting because of the amount of different authors and different books it calls out. Like Josh Reynolds' Clone Lord, The Path of Heaven by Chris Wright, which became deviously likeable. And very much paints him as a villain's villain. So yes. So yeah, there's lots of stuff really going on as a reference to Amor Fati by Michael Haspel, which I've not read. And he's got this intimate relationship of wariness also with the warp. He sort of realised that he's playing a long game that means he won't become a demon even though he's got loads of warp powers. And he's still hubristic as all things. So, it's really interesting. And the fact he's got this world as a stage for his pride and his folly. Wanted someone who could have proven himself enough to be exalted by Fulgrim and have it loom over his character arc, giving him introspection, as well as surrounding him with a cast that brings out the worst in him. And there's other characters actually coming back from the wider stuff. So Von Calder, who might be a name for the Remblazers of this world, might be interested to see how they fit in. Okay. Yeah, you're okay. Sorry.
She has some very complicated feelings about Eidolon. I understand.
Yeah.
Yes, Eidolon is a very complicated person. To be honest, I don't even think I want to understand.
Yep, that's fair.
Lord Commander
My
Eidolon.
one big takeaway from Eidolon is that every time I see the art, because I know that there's like a nice cover art they've shown,
It's
and
gorgeous,
his miniature, I always go, I never saw him with that haircut in my mind when I read the books, the books he's been in.
What, the emo fringe?
Yeah, it's incredibly
Side shave
long.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is very long and lustrous and very, very beautiful, very powerful.
This is a very
for a
surface
zombie,
level,
it's
a very surface level thing. But I just never. I every time I see it, I go, I still just don't. It never feels like that's what he is in my mind when I read about him.
Yeah,
But
it's an impressive trim for a zombie, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
However, if you want someone who's also a Lord Commander, but a bit easier to understand, then might I draw your attention to a new Astra Militarum novel, which has got the awful textbook spines, about Lord Solar Leontus.
Ah.
So the premise here is simply there's a world that's being absolutely battered by the orcs, and there's just a saviour pod screaming down, even though the whole Imperial fleet's in retreat, and it's just Leontus.
Just hanging out. It's
And
fun.
he fully intends, despite the fact that this is completely doomed, he's like, I'm going to win this.
I reckon I can take him.
Yeah, and I quote, a rip-roaring tale about one of the most powerful men in the Imperium fighting a desperate personal battle against endless waves of orcs. Stranded on an occupied planet, he must rebuild an army to wrest it back.
So no pressure.
It's literally like a bloody, like, almost like he's playing an RPG. Like, he's just been airdropped into a hopeless situation. Oh my god, protagonist, you must save us! And you're the only hope we have! You need to rally our forces and build an army strong enough to defeat the orcs or we will be destroyed! It's like, okay, I didn't realise I was playing a post-apocalypse RPG here.
Yeah, he's definitely got main character energy there.
Yeah, he's definitely picked Two Bears High-Fiving. I'm sorry.
Yes, also, he's definitely just trying to one-up Marnie as Calgar. I saw you held a gate for a day, I heard. Well, I'm going to beat an entire planet. Just let me build an army first.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
the special
you think
edition
that's
looks rather
impressive?
fancy. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just ruining the joke.
Oh, okay.
It's all good. Actually, no, I've thought of a better analogy. It's not a bloody post-apocalypse RPG. He's just playing Dawn of War Dark Crusade.
Oh, lucky bastard, honestly.
He's literally just being airdropped in. He's got a tiny little turf, barely any troops, and he's got to take over the whole planet from an array of enemies. So
You
it's like,
must build
yeah,
an
this-
armory. You have built it. Yeah,
You
he's
must
just
construct additional pylons.
yeah, he's just speedrunning an RTS, and honestly, more power to him.
But yes, I agree with you, Wib. It is a very pretty cover. I don't know why the sword is on fire.
It
mean,
just
it's all
looks
black and
cool.
white.
When there's an opportunity to have a sword be on fire, why would you not have the sword be on fire?
Because the sword's a lightning sword, as shown in the normal cover.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe he got some fluff on it from his very nice cape, and it caught fire. We don't know.
Sometimes swords can be multiple things. There's that character from Bloodborne who has a sword that is like has
Yeah, but her blood
spewing
is
from it and it's on
is
fire.
flammable. Yeah.
And Bloodfire might be the coolest thing that has ever existed ever. So, sometimes swords can contain multitudes.
Sometimes swords can be on fire, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Look, if you want
admittedly-
actual literary critiques, you do not come to us.
No, you don't.
No, you
But,
come to me,
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes, the one who knows everything.
Yeah, I wrote AOS, which is this obviously is an AOS story.
Yeah.
That's what I said to James Workshop. I said, James,
6 years later.
James Workshop, this is an AOS story. He said, yes, ma'am.
God, this joke is like 5 years old.
And
joke is
what
literally
about
5
it?
years old.
It
And it
aged
just
like
keeps
wine.
getting funnier.
As in, it turned into vinegar.
Yeah, jeez. Okay, so moving acrosswards from back to minis, because I appreciate we just talked books. There's another new box game on the way. It's starting in the UK, but it will be coming out further. Going out in Warhammer stores. I believe it will be wider than the UK, but it doesn't say that specifically. Oh, excuse me. And that is a Recruit Edition starter box for Space Marine 2.
Yes. Which
Wow,
is
that's reticent.
well, the Titus doesn't look great.
He
I mean,
definitely
we've
is
seen
an
the mini before.
ultramarine.
It's
Yeah,
not great.
It's not, no.
I will be interested to see how much. Because have they said how much it costs?
No, it hasn't gone on sale. It goes on sale tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. Because I don't know. I look at it and it does strike me as a what do we have in the warehouse? Throw some rules together, get it out there.
I mean, the Titus Mini was never the strong suit. Let's be completely fair. Sorry, I've just lost my headphones, so if you're trying to talk over me, I'm sorry. The Titus Mini was never great. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. It was always kind of mid.
The angles are just all wrong. His flow is like going one way and another way, and it's a nightmare.
Also, it doesn't even look like him.
No.
It's just...
Like either version of him, like Lieutenant or Captain.
It's I don't know. It's just a very weird choice because making a single Primaris Lieutenant and making it look kind of cool is one thing that Games Workshop are pretty good at doing, and it's just weird that they dropped the ball here on like a fair, not important character, not really, because it's just a video game tie-in, but like a character that people are
how
pretty.
well that's actually doing.
Oh yeah, but like
that's getting loads of people into 40k.
But a model,
pretty cool.
a mini that a lot of people would be interested in getting if it was good.
Yeah, I do feel like they maybe drained the well of good quality Primaris Lieutenants and they got to Titus and went, eh.
Yeah.
But the
Kinda
problem is,
kit
Titus got
bashed
so
him
many
with
different...
what was left.
But he's also got so many bloody weapons, like bolt pistol and chainsword. Why?
Because he's the main character.
I mean, I suppose if you're going to pick a melee weapon for him, the most iconic one would be the chainsword.
The thing is, the chainsword isn't painted like his chainsword in game.
I think we would also
Checkmate,
have
James Workshop. No, I know.
Doesn't the version that we've got look different because it's a pre-order thing?
But that is the one that he had, because that was the one they made like out of wood. Because James Sterling like managed to score one, and it was like a big fancy like ultramarine blue and gold kind of thing. I think like the hilt of it, the pommel was like an eagle head or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember it so vividly, but there we are.
Well, fair enough. But yes, if you really want this mini, then you can buy a box. Basically, this is just a cheap way to get a free box of Termagants.
Yeah.
So you also get 5 paints, some clippers, a paintbrush, a measuring stick, measuring sheet. So yeah,
When I was younger, we had whippy sticks, and they couldn't measure shit, and you liked it.
oh god, the whippy stick. Yeah.
That's good for someone takes out a model you didn't want them to take out. Hit them on the knuckles with it, and then measure with your IKEA brand measuring tape.
Yes, but the problem is they've also shown with Titus, they can do a cool looking Titus, because did you see the one that's going on tour and has gone to Warhammer World?
Oh, yeah, we need to go see that. It looks so cool. Because I mean, the big squig was there for the plushy, not squig, the big plushy Nurgling was there for a while. And Titus has he has dethroned the Nurgling.
He's dethroned the boy.
The boy!
He's going to Zurich.
Oh.
Oh, how long
He's going to the Warhammer store in Zurich, apparently.
Why Zurich? Why not Warhammer World, where he lives and belongs?
Because Titus punched him so hard he warped out.
He really did, yeah. Poor guy. I like how they actually made him a what do they call it? Like a worker's lanyard ID.
Yeah, he had a name tag and everything.
He did, yeah. And then it was like, "Do not touch me, I am fragile." And it's like, I'm glad that I got to touch him when I did. That's
there's a
weird
photo of
thing
you
to say.
hugging him.
Yeah, we're both cuddling him. So I wonder if they'll let me cuddle Titus. They probably won't, but I can try.
Well, the fine you got for doing so will probably be less than buying the Weta Workshop mini, because I mean that's what it's based on.
Very true.
And so you'd probably get away with it, better doing that.
I'll just go there and I'll be like, I've got my card ready. I have my, I'm ready to pay the fine. I'll pay it now. Let me.
I don't consider it a fine. I consider it a fee.
Yeah.
But yes, there isn't actually much more news to discuss. There's a couple of Blood Bowl star players. There's a Temple Guard and a Chaos Dwarf with a rocket launcher.
I do appreciate the what's his face? Anky Panky.
What a stupid name.
That can't be real.
Yeah.
No, it is.
This
This is Blood Bowl, Snipe, remember?
It's playing into like the ye old. I mean, they're still knocking around, but like ye old lizard men and like slan names that would just be utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yes, this is Anky Panky.
Fuck off.
I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna copy and paste that so you can see how it's spelled.
As
well, so you can enjoy that. There you go.
Okay. Oh my.
Oh dear.
Taking my glasses off. I don't want to fucking. I am angry because I didn't think of it. That's the biggest problem I'm having right now.
We have just reached Snipe's equivalent of a head desk.
Oh yeah, very much. When I take my glasses off, that's when you know I have head desked.
Yes, there's that's just about the VR thing. I think we already. Oh, that started now. The VR thing.
I've seen a couple of people on Reddit posting video of it, and they're just filming themselves in a room looking like a weirdo. And it's like, can I see what the game looks like? And it's like, no, you're just watching me run around in a big empty room with a silly headset on. And I'm like, well, as long as you enjoyed it, that's cool.
Yeah, it's VR is one of those things that getting footage and demonstrating it can be tricky
pain.
if it's not your machine you're working on. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
I made a mistake. I clicked a Warhammer Plus article and it's caught my interest.
Oh, okay.
What have you done?
What have you done?
They've told us what the new animations are.
Oh yeah. I saw a thing about them showing off some new stuff.
I've only seen one episode of Tithes, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I've heard
really cool.
I've heard good things about it. And there's been some quite major lore rewrites in there as well, which is fine. If you're gonna do it under the official license.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a take. But the actual ending of episode 3...
I haven't seen that one. I've only seen the second one with the Custodes lady.
Yeah,
and
do you want the spoiler?
No, I won't, because I do really want to see it, so...
Well, it just sort of shows where the tides end up.
Okay, cool. I mean, I have a feeling I know, but...
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of lists of different animations they're doing, and there's one called Kill Lupercal.
Yeah, I love that as a name. That's the most... That's the coolest... Like, I want it to be like a weird heist, even though that would totally not turn match at all.
No, it's the final walk of the god machines.
Ooh.
Like, think Last March of the Ents, but Last March of the Terran Titans. Expect apocalyptic levels of firepower and drama. I'm just going to watch the clip sort of on very low volume.
Yeah, it's only like 19 seconds, and you don't really see a huge amount.
I like it how
you get started by a Titan. I'm sure someone's into that.
I was about to make a joke about being into that, but now I feel personally attacked by Tactica Imperialis.
Oopsie. Right. So I'm just gonna excuse me a minute. So there might be a slight jump in the audio because I just going to need to put baby down because she has fallen asleep after her milk.
Okay,
No worries.
Or just leave
If you
your
can fill
audio
the air,
running and
talking
it
to
can
more-
just cut out. So
Yeah, if you can fill the air, then by all means fill the air. But I'm just warning Remlays.
Okay, no worries. I reckon we can do a job of filling the air. Okay, so wibble it.
Yes.
Just a little bit. I have been really enjoying Space Marine 2. The first big post-release patch has just been released as of a couple of days ago, which I think they've added a lot of very good quality of life improvements, a lot of gameplay improvements, and just performance improvements. How do you find them?
Well, I haven't really been able to appreciate a lot of them on account of the game takes 47 years to load on my machine.
Because you don't have an SSD, you have an HDD.
Because I am apparently have a machine built in the 1970s.
Feels like it.
But I did really like, because I know that they changed they'd added in the sparring thing, so you can kind of when you're just waiting for people, you can kind of just go in there and shoot your weapons a bit, and have another person in there and just kind of shoot and hack at each other, which is quite fun. Because I didn't get around to it. I didn't actually look at the rest of the patch notes to see what they've done, because I've only played like one game of one operations game since the update.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like readjustments of like health or the max amount of enemies up to enemy type allowed to be spawning and stuff like that. So a lot of like pretty decent adjustments. I'd say that like I'm still waiting for the Assault Marine to get a rework.
to be good.
Yeah, in PvE. But yeah.
We've both been playing a lot of it. Although I've been playing probably more of the PvP, which is weird to me because I never normally do that.
Yeah, it's gross. Don't do that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, fair enough if that's what you're just in the mood for. I mean, I don't know what you thought of the. We talked a lot about the Space Marine 2 last time, so I won't drag it out. But and I'm sure you've probably either got a review in the works or have done one on a stream or have even whatever. But I mean, I don't know what you thought of it in terms of. I suppose on the last episode, basically it's very cookie cutters. It's basically the same game, just with more options, because it's literally, there's an alien threat, you must kill it. Oh, there's suddenly chaos, you must defeat that instead. Lol, go home.
It does have, as an overall plot, it does have the Warhammer 40,000 video game plot, which is, oh hey, there is some alien attack.
Xenos.
But really, it's chaos that's the problem.
Which I don't mind, and honestly, like, fair play with the cookie cutter kind of statement, but like at the same time, I really like the first one, so I'm super happy to have more of the same.
Oh yeah, it's not Chris. I loved Space Marine 1. I played it so many times it broke my PS3. but they've had what, a decade?
About 14, 15 years or something stupid like this.
Exactly.
It came out in 2011.
Yeah.
So if you've had 12 or 13 years to cook something up, I'd like to think you could do something that either put us against chaos from get and just accept that that's where we're going, or I don't know, have the Eldar be the shadowy figures in the background, and then it's even more Purge the Xenos, but this time they're witches.
I just want a Fire Warrior remaster for the PC. That's all I want. That's all I want.
I'd be down for that. Honestly.
I would be down for that. Everyone was unnecessarily like mean about that game.
It's not an amazing game, but it's not a bad one either.
It's like, considering so many Halo clones around that time, it's actually pretty good.
It's totally fine, completely acceptable.
And it explores the
Final
tower,
boss
which I
sucks
think...
dick, but and not in a good way, in a derogatory.
Very badly.
But yeah, no, there are definitely some derivative things. I think it probably helped that we played the game in sort of its ideal environment, which is that we played it as 3-player co-op.
Yeah, it was you, me, and Longfang, our friend. Like basically, over 3 streams, we just went in and completed that, and had a lot of fun.
2 streams.
I think it was 2 or 3. I can't remember.
No, whatever.
Yeah, but no, and I thoroughly enjoyed it the whole time. I thought it was very fun, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a bit at the end where I was literally shouting at my fucking screen. This is not because it was bad. It was because there was information revealed to me, and I was like, personally, this has pissed me off in the most amusing manner possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's been out long enough that we could easily just say, you know what, you've had your chance. People, I mean, I haven't actually played it, but I've watched all the cutscenes and things like that, so I know how it goes. But like, I know what you mean about the back end reveal. It was very good, but also oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, I was just shouting "fuck you" into the fucking like not in a I'm genuinely mad, but in a okay, nice, okay, fair cop, good one.
But no, I think I have heard that the game is significantly less fun if you play the campaign in single player.
I've heard that it's not as well balanced. So.
I have been meaning to actually play through, or at least play through a chunk of it like that, just to kind of get my eye in to see sort of what people are saying. Because what I will say is that I think the campaign of the game is one thing, and I enjoyed it, and I think it has a lot of really cool moments, even if there's certain parts that don't necessarily make the hugest amount of sense when you think about them, but that's fine. It's a big action sequence. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's about the spectacle of it. But I think one of the things that the game really managed to nail down that I think Space Marine 1 kind of faltered at, which is that they have from day one made sure that the multiplayer stuff that you can endlessly play has more meat on those bones. Even though there's actually a surprisingly few amount of, like, say, especially for the PvP, there's only 3 maps, but those maps, there's 3 different types of games you can play on each of them. So there's effectively sort of 9 things, and you know, each map feels different if you're playing it in a different mode because you utilize different parts of the map, blah, blah. Or you utilize them in a different way, more accurately. And I think that it feels like they made sure that they had a real firm ground to build on for future stuff. Where and it seems from the what's the word, the map ahead, what do we call it, roadmap, that's the one. I know words. But the roadmap suggests that they have also learned about, we are not going to split the community by putting gameplay stuff in DLC stuff.
The biggest fuck up that they did in the first one was that Dreadnought DLC that completely killed its online.
I wanted to play that.
I did too.
I never got a game of it.
Could not. You just couldn't, and like this was like an observable phenomenon, and I remember talking with Longfang about it and being like, I really hope they don't do that, because that is gonna completely mess it up, and I really do think they've paid attention and gone, yeah, we shouldn't do this. This isn't very good.
It does seem like the future plans all revolve around anything paid is unless you have a season pass, then of course it's all included in that, or at least amount of it will be until they decide that new season starts. But,
yep, capitalism is hell.
But you know, everything that you pay for will be an aesthetic thing, and you can argue how much that affects the game, because obviously there's a FOMO thing there, blah 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 blah. I understand, I agree, but the stuff that really changes the game and that can split a community, the gameplay aspects, that's all seemingly going to remain free forever. That's just part of the game.
It's the most sensible thing, because even if you brought in a new map, that's gonna still fragment a lot of people. Because like, a lot of people, like, I remember, like, you know, growing up, I was dirt poor, and it was like, if I finally managed to scrape together the cheapest, because games nowadays, I don't have to tell anyone here how annoying, like, multiple versions it is, and unless you pay an exorbitant fee, you don't get a complete product. And like, okay, so I've skimped on groceries for 3 weeks. Now I get to buy the cheapest version of this game. Oh no, okay, all my friends have the DLC and I can't play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're going to do DLC, because you need to drive up your price margins for some reason, then I guess make it cosmetic so that your
It's-
whales at least get the fun, but the actual
Yeah.
people who just want to play the goddamn game don't suffer.
I feel that, like, I mean, it's going to happen because it's going to happen. It's how they make so much money. But, like, that seems like the least egregious way of doing it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not good, but it's the
It's a
least
shit
bad.
sandwich, but at least at least you're using, like, premium bread, I guess. You know? the metaphor nobody asked for.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we have been playing a lot of the game and enjoying it. And
I'm
yeah,
looking forward to some more multiplayer PvE maps, just because, and this is just because I played it to death. So I'm like, okay, how about now? Can we have more, like, fully formed maps now, please? Do want. But yeah,
and
no.
yeah. Also, add beaky helmets, please.
Add checkered shoulder pads, you cowards.
Well, yeah, so I can have my lamenters, but
You can't have
know.
lamenters, but you can have, like, spears of the Emperor and then, like, Nova Marines and stuff, and it's like, okay.
Well, you can. I made a size of the Emperor. They didn't actually put.
Oh
one in
god,
there.
yeah. What is it? It's Void Tridents.
Void Tridents.
Fucking Void Tridents. Where's my lamenters, you cowards? Gosh darn it, to heck and back. I do apologise.
No, it's all good. But no, I completely understand what you're getting at. And I just hope that it seems like they've got it right. So let's just hope they've got it right and continue to get it right. Because it's sort of the same as when you do anything. It's like, it's all well and good what you put up front. That's great. But as more and more games go to a live service model and like,
Can you stick the landing?
It's not, stick the landing, then not just stick it, but continue running after sticking said landing.
Basically, can you finish the triathlon?
What games have to do is not necessarily stick the landing. They have to maintain within the ground effect area where they're just hovering above the ground like they're in a chronoplan and try not to slam into any buildings.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a totally relatable like metaphor.
And it just rolls off the tongue as well. I mean, everyone knows that.
Involving bizarre Russian like
ground effect vehicles.
I've heard that Helldivers, which obviously a lot of Helldivers 2, which a lot of 40k players really enjoyed because it's a similar kind of vibe.
It's Guardsman Simulator.
I've heard, though I haven't played it for a while, I've heard the game's kind of like not really been able to hold on to its good feeling over time, and it's had a lot of problems.
Sony, with that thing, I can't remember what it was. It was something to do with like, oh, you have to have this account, otherwise you can't play it anywhere.
Oh yeah, they did that a while back. And
they
did
that
since
that had honestly completely like crippled like so much consumer positivity about that game, because I remember playing it a lot.
It took the wind out the sails, definitely.
It really did, and a lot of people were like, all right, well, you guys can fuck off then, I'm not interested. And you know, that was quite heartbreaking to see all these hardworking game devs and they're like, yeah, corporate gonna corp.
But that shows how even a game that has got so much goodwill and people really, really liked it, how easily one bungled corporate decision can screw that good feeling.
Well, let's ignore that and just try and be cautiously optimistic.
It's one of the problems, like, because as much as like, I enjoyed the single player and I've been enjoying multiplayer stuff. Well, I say single player. The single player, I also played multiplayer, but you know, as much as I've enjoyed the campaign and the other stuff, because everything is going to the live service thing, the games have not just got to be good now; they've got to be good next week, next month, next year, and that's much harder to do, and not to just fall off, because it could just be in a couple of months. Only the core, or like most people who are currently playing Space Marine will probably not be playing it anymore, and when you're then left with that core audience who is going to stick around, how you do stuff for them is going to be it's going to be interesting to see. Like, I think the game is good in and of itself right now, but you know,
absolutely.
It is necessitated by the type of game they've made to try and make it go over a much longer period. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if they can pull that off.
Cautiously optimistic, enjoying it right now.
Yes, there's something that I wasn't expecting. I accidentally was on Warhammer Community. I accidentally clicked in the corner, ended up on the main Warhammer website, and of course, the main thing at the moment is Kill Team. So it's like pre-order the launch box and yada yada. And oh my god, I know it's Warhammer, I know, but oh my god, everything is so stupidly expensive.
145 quid. Yep.
You can
so-
whistle.
Yes, so £145 for the box game with the Vespid and the Tempestus. And I grant there's a lot of terrain in there, I grant you. And if you account for the cost of the core book, which is apparently £37.50, then it's, and if you consider that a kill zone is apparently £75 now, just for a kill zone for a fucking board, then actually you're only paying £37 for the 2 kill teams and the other bits and bobs, but I'm fucking sorry.
I mean, the kill teams...
What a bargain, Jesus.
The kill teams are all range from like 42.50 to like 47.50, like if bought individually. Obviously, you can't get the specific ones that are in the box yet individually, but they're a lot. It is just a lot. I'm reminded a bit of because we got there was the Star Wars Shatterpoint game that came out. Was it last year?
I think it was last
year before.
Yeah.
I've lost all scope of time.
The pandemic,
and that was like that was a really cool game that was actually quite fun once you got into it. Rules were written in a absolutely labyrinthine way that hurt my brain, but once you understood them, they were actually quite easy.
Yeah, it was quite easy to kind of like once you've translated the weird way they listed the rules. Yeah,
but the actual they had really nice minis, but you just got like 2 teams and it's very kill team like, and it was that and a bunch of terrain. So you got a lot in that box, but the price tag I think at full price was like £160, and
which was a bit much. And then like you get the character boxes like the squad. You basically would buy a squad. So there was like a General Grievous one that came with obviously General Grievous and a bunch of other ones, and it was like, say, like, for argument's sake, I mean, General Grievous, he was big and quite intricate, which is cool, but it was, say, for argument's sake, it was like 5 models, and it would be like 50-something quid, like 50, 60 quid.
Yeah, I think
and like
it
3,
was,
well, I think it was even worse than that, because I remember looking at one of them, and I think it was the Mandalorian, like, no, what was that? Oh, fuck, I can't remember what it was. It was so long ago.
The Shatterpoint things, they do have like they do come individually, and there's like 4 things in each set, and they're cost
very expensive,
a lot.
Because I remember being like, I do enjoy this game. I like Star Wars. This is cool. It's a fun game that you can teach someone who isn't really into tabletop like wargaming pretty quick, so you can have a quick game.
Yeah.
And
they're like 40 quid for 4 models.
Yeah, and it's like, I appreciate, like, a lot of people will be like, well, you can get a box of Khorne Berserkers, like, of 10 for, like, 30-something. It's like, yeah, you can. But, like, I'm looking at this going, okay, for the amount of models you get, and they're bigger than Warhammer ones, and I'm like, what could I spend to get for a Warhammer army instead?
I think
that's always a dangerous question.
The thing, and then you go, because that has so much more playable utility. Like, there's so many more people I know that I can play that with instead.
But the thing I wanted to mention while I was bringing that up was that that box had the same problem of that when you view it as a totality, you go, that's too expensive. That's way too expensive. When you break it down, you go, you're actually getting way more than the retail price for the individual components. Like, you actually got, like, say, £200 worth in a £160 box. So it's like you are getting more than you want, but it's such a hard pill to swallow when you just see that number and you go, what, in this one there's like 20 models and it's like 140 quid, and you're like, woof. Yep. Like, it doesn't, like, terrain on some level, even though you know it's not, feels like it should be the freebie for buying the box set.
Well, it's not the coolest part, so your brain kind of goes, it's not a necessity.
Yeah. I know, it's all very... It's done. We all complain about the price of Warhammer, but it is really expensive, and it is only getting worse.
Like,
everything is...
Like, you can focus on, the big box game is really expensive, but, like, the fucking Scouts kill team. So this is 10 Space Marine Scouts, right? 50 quid.
Yeah.
Guess
For
I'm not
10
getting those
Scouts. Scouts. Fucking Scouts.
Like, it's very easy to just go back in it to go and go, oh, well, back when I started playing Warhammer, you could buy a tactical squad for £10.
Yeah, and look how shit they looked.
Ah,
Credit
there was-
where
Not
it's
that bad.
due.
We have a pile of them in the Warhammer Club case. The ones from, like, Assault on Black Reach and Battle from Macragge look fucking fine.
Okay, the Black Reach
I'm talking
one's
about
pretty
the
good.
third ed multi-part
Yeah.
kit that is honestly actually pretty. The modern ones look very similar to them, honestly.
Oh, do you, I remember back in the day when you have a big bargain bucket of miniatures and you just paid by the bucket of weight because and it's like, yeah, and they all were nowhere near as detailed or as difficult to make as they are now. Which
I mean, even... Sorry.
no, that's okay.
So it's a complicated thing. Like the new stuff is much more detailed than the old stuff, and so the fact that it is so expensive does kind of line up. But also, you can't help but go, I'm not being funny. We have had a lot of problems with inflation, but like a 10-man
50
squad.
quid for a squad of guardsmen.
that can
yeah,
fuck off. Yeah.
It's not. Things aren't worth 5 times what they were in like 1998, which is
No, it's not. The worst part is that literally, like, I remember I got into the hobby in 2008. I've said this before. It was 08 was my in year, and literally, you could get 3 Orc boys for 8 quid. You could get 4 guardsmen for 8 quid. You could get 10 Orc boys for 18 quid. Literally, I could buy fucking 2 boxes of boys and a squad of grots in 2008 for the cost of 1 commando squad today.
Yeah.
I
I
remember
think
my
one of the
Like, that's an entire fucking army.
yeah.
Actually, no, Christian, I swap out 1 squad of boys for, like, a big mech because you couldn't buy a plastic, couldn't buy a war boss for loving the bloody money. It's a HQ and 2 troops. I could literally play 5th edition for less than this fucking kill team.
yeah, it's kind of wild because there is just this. I think one of the big problems is that stuff has not been affected equally. So, like, I like back in the day, dreadnoughts used to be wildly overpriced in like to physically buy. I think like a metal dreadnought cost like £20 odd when I first started.
The first dreadnought I bought that was because I fell in love with my Black Reach dreadnought, box set dreadnought. Box knot, yeah. And then I was like, oh well, I need like a dozen of these little fuckers. These are amazing. And the first one I bought was like, fuck, no, what was it? I think the first one I got was the special.
Yeah, you bought the Forge World
the
Mark IV
Forge World
Dreadnought.
Mark IV Space War Dreadnought, which is a beautiful model till this fucking day. And I was like, ooh, 25 quid. Or I think it was like 25 quid. And I was like,
It was you had to buy the arms separate, so it had kind of hidden costs to it.
But at the same time, it's like I remember everyone drooling over Forge World, myself included. You know, we were not special. And then like starting to notice very, very quickly that Forge World like miniatures and 40k miniatures were basically the same price at a point. And then it was like, well, I'm just going to buy it from Forge World because they're way more detailed and fancier.
Well, I had a Deathwing army that was like a homebrew chapter, and I got Tyberos the Red Wake as my equivalent of Belial. Belial? I always forget which way around.
Belial, I was called him, but whatever.
Belial, I think, is the
I think
correct.
yeah. I think that's what the video game Storm of Vengeance calls him, and that why would I ever disrespect that?
Literally,
fine
whatever we pronounce it as, someone's going to go, actually, I think you'll find it's pronounced Kyle. And then I will fucking walk to your house and tell you off in person and then leave you completely unharmed.
But I bought him largely because like buying an equivalent like character model would have cost me about the same as just buying one of the nicest Forge World models at the time. So I was screw it. And
That's
yeah,
the thing, if you're going to spend that much money, you might as well spend it on something really fancy.
But yeah, as I was saying, like the things haven't affected things equally. So like a dreadnought is like equivalent because obviously they're plastic now rather than metal, but those aren't like. They have kind of vaguely in line with inflation, you know. They feel like sensible of how much they cost, whereas like individual troops cost just so much more, and especially you used to be able to like buy an HQ choice for like a £5, and now they're a plastic kit, but it costs like 25 quid, and that's just like obscene for one plastic miniature, for one plastic Space Marine.
Yeah, actually, here's the funny one. I shop on undisclosed third market buy and sell app that shall remain nameless. It's not eBay.
No.
Because, actually I do have some level of standards.
The shade of it all.
But they sell lots of different things, including people selling spare Warhammer. It's how I sold my some of my Ideneth and some of my Slanesh. And I saw on there, someone was selling Marnie's Calgar, the new one. And I was like, it was like 20 quid. And I was like, 20 quid for Calgar? Oh, that's a bit steep. I'm thinking, it's second hand. So I'm like, that's a bit steep. It wasn't even painted.
It wasn't professionally painted? Oh.
No, it was great. It wasn't even painted. It was just built. So I thought, that's a bit steep. Well, I've just gone on to... I'm still on the Warhammer website, and now it has a As Seen in Space Marine 2 tab.
Oh, fuck off.
Spoiler!
And Calgar is, of course, there. His name drops in the second fucking cutscene, so I'm not thinking that's a major spoiler that he shows up, because they talk about him all the way through the bloody game. And he's 40 quid with the Victrix Guard. Now, I know that's 3 minis, but it's 40 fucking pounds, and it can fuck right off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he costs the same as a fucking Hive Tyrant.
He costs slightly, like £2 less than a pack of like 10 Khorne Berserkers. And
he costs £2 less than a Lehman Russ.
It's stupid.
Christ.
It's like with my Combat Patrol, I also purchased my World Eater Combat Patrol from a third-party seller who sold it for basically 20 quid cheaper. And in that, I got like what did I get? I got like a pack of Jackals, Lord Invocatus. How many?
20
20 Khorne Berserkers for basically 80 quid.
Yep,
and
that's
now
the same as I got my Imperial Agents for.
Yeah, and I already had a Lord Invocatus that I bought years ago for like a good like 15 quid less than he is now. It's exactly the same model, and I just was like, I'm having a rough day. I want to paint and put something together that I normally wouldn't, so I'm throwing him in, and then I'm looking at like, because what I want to do with this force is put Angron in there, like the Demon Angron.
Of course you would. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't I? And like, he's the same price as my entire Combat Patrol, money-wise. That is bananas. It's like,
I at least kind of understand it in Angron's case, because he is
huge. He's like the size of a knight. So at least he's big enough for you to go, okay, you know what? He's big, and the lizard brain is satisfied with costs a lot of money is big. But like, if I got like pre-heresy Angron, I'd be like, he's just kind of there.
I think that's one of the problems. Is there's a lot of things in the range currently that are both incredibly expensive, but also not that fancy looking. Like in terms of like how showy they are. Whereas at least Angron is a centerpiece to an army. You get an Imperial Knight, that's a centerpiece, unless you have a Knight army. But then
okay. So to give you some further context as to where that stands, I just went on the Orcs range because, as you know, I was an Orc player, and I own a Stomper.
Yeah.
It's in my parents' loft. And when it came out in 2009, it was £60. It's now 88. So that's a 30% markup, or whatever. It's about 30-40% markup. Sucks. I know inflation's a thing and whatever, but it's the same kit, so it's not like, it's fancier plastic or any shit like that. But your Angron costs more than a Stomper.
Yeah. Stompers have always been a bit weird like that. Again, it's the unequal way in which some things are priced. Like a Stomper is huge.
It's gigantic.
Yeah. But a battle wagon, I also have 2 battle wagons. I bought my first one when the second wave of January came out in 2009, and it was like £35, I think. It's now 75.
Fuck off. Double the price. Okay, great.
Now they put the upgrade sprue in there, So it's technically gone from £43 to £75. But you say about the inconsistency of the price hikes. The Stomper's gone up by 40%.
Yeah.
This thing's gone up by nearly 100. It's nearly doubled in price.
Yeah.
And it's the same freaking kit
Yeah.
as it was 15 years ago.
It's like, yeah.
It's the same kit.
It's incredibly frustrating, and I'm not going to get into the whole, like, how everything keeps costing more, but no one keeps getting paid more. Who deserves it? I'm not going to get into that. We all know very well. We all know. And it's like, excluding that being at the core, it is just scattershot with their reasoning. It's like, you can understand, like, Stomper versus Angron. Okay, yeah, they haven't done anything new, and they've upped the price that much. And it's like, I appreciate that like miniature printing, not printing, but like casting miniatures like this, with this level of detail, with these materials, it is difficult. It can be expensive. For producing these kinds of things, you are still making such a fucking markup, dude. Honestly, and it's like, you don't need to. I mean, I'm gonna get pissed off because I just want my plastic crack at a more reasonable price, please.
Yeah, and literally, I have to tell students at Warhammer Club, don't buy anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the thing that kills me, is if there was Warhammer Club, well, we started it when I was at school, and we all had bought in, we'd all bought a Codex or a Battle Force, and we had like 3 rule books between us, because 2 of us had bought Blackreach and 1 of us bought the big one. So, whatever, we started our own club off of the back of nothing. These kids are coming into our Warhammer Club with a fully stocked Space Marine army, a fully stocked Chaos army, Tau army, Orc army. As a Votan player, an Admech player, I've got my Inquisition now. They've got armies upon armies to play with and paint and explore. But you take them to the wall of factions and go, these are all the different things. And they go, I really like those. And we say, don't buy anything.
Yeah, just don't.
Unless you are absolutely locked in, committed. Like, there's one kid who's gone out and bought, like, he came to club for a month and he went out and bought a night. And you know what?
Oh, God, I wish I had that kind of money.
Yeah, and you know what? Fine. Be an impulsive
kid.
13-year-old. But at the same time, I know there's so many kids in our area who've got a deprivation and other challenges, and that's not being political, that's statistics.
Yeah.
And I know how much Warhammer did for me, and I know I can give them that, but I also then, as soon as they leave or I leave or things change, they aren't going to have it anymore because they've not had the option to buy in. I could tell them, you know what, save up, get a combat patrol, and we'll play combat patrol. And you know what, we could do that. But then you've got to tell them, oh, you're going to need to buy the paints. Paints are like £4 a pop.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, a lot of the modern models, I will say this, as nice as they are, a lot of them are not super friendly for beginners. Like,
no, I mean,
No.
some of the because I bought the first and the second editions of the new Combat Patrol magazine, which I'm sorry,
Issues.
issue. Yeah, what did I say? Editions?
yeah.
I'm a goober. Ignore me. And I'm like, because the first issue was $2.99 for a Primaris
Captain and a Prime, right?
Yeah, and big Tyrannid boy, and that was £1.50 basically each for the models if you completely exclude any of the literature that was written for it. That is okay. You probably lost a good bit of money there, but you will have gained a lot of people's. Well, first one's like ridiculously cheap, right? You know, that's the way it goes. And like the second,
and there were adverts on the telly for it, so they paid for that.
Yeah. They must have really pushed that because obviously it's Ultramarines and Tyranids, it's Space Marine 2s. Like the amount of new people I've seen in online spaces go, "Hi, I'm here from Space Marine 2," and it's like, welcome in. Get ready to spend every penny you fucking have, and then in the next edition, you're probably going to get shot in the face and have to like go, I can't use half my army now because...
You thought your season pass was expensive? Wait till you have to buy a single box of intercessors.
Woohoo! Fuck you and your rent, bitch. Yeah, it's brutal.
I do think about this sometimes, about how I like, again, like Warhammer's always it's always a luxury. Like I'm not sitting there and saying, granted, when I do Rise to Power, I will be nationalizing Games Workshop and guaranteeing a repulsor in every house. But that's the future.
A Bio-Titan in every home.
But I do think about when I first started, it was possible to just walk into a Games Workshop and for £3 buy a blister pack of some miniatures.
I think there should be something like that, where
you can buy a paint set for £10, which would come with some like monopose, like it still had second ed.
You
Marines
could run a hobby off your pocket money.
Yeah, you could.
It was an actual viable thing where you could go in and go, I've got a few quid, I'll get a couple of dudes and a paint. There you go, bang, done.
And especially because some squads were built from like purely metal models that you bought in individual blisters, you would slowly build up a squad. And I'm not saying that there weren't problems with that, because obviously, it means that you had to buy, you were slowly assembling a squad rather than just getting one at once that was playable. But
even for me, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I do feel that on some level, it means that there's. It prices a lot of kids out of being able to even engage with the hobby, because the cheapest thing you can buy, if you go into a Games Workshop, the cheapest thing you can buy is a paint. And the cheapest models you can buy, is like, I think maybe the Grot box is still the cheapest. I think that's like 13 quid now.
With the runt herd and stuff?
Let me check.
Yeah.
Let me check.
Yeah, I think
I was on the org page. Let me check.
I think that is probably one of the one I think of when I think of cheap bunch.
16 quid.
That's
16 quid now.
16 quid. I remember when it was £9.99.
It was 8 quid on release.
8 quid on release. Fuck me running. All right.
I think there was still 12 quid relatively recently, because I had to buy a ton of them to do my Grot Rebellion
honey, you're saying relatively recently. That was probably about 5-6 years ago.
Okay, yeah. That's not. That's fair,
no.
That's fair. But my point is, there's that kind of impulsive, like, I just want to buy this. It also means that, like, I used to, when I was a kid, I would just buy random models because I just wanted to paint them. When a model cost, like, you were buying like a little blister of them, and it was like even like a relatively fancy one was like a £5. And I know this is like 1998, 1999.
So it probably would have been about like 15 quid adjusted for modern inflation.
Well, I think it's like 40 to 50%, like something like that, inflation from then. I don't remember exactly. But my point is, even then, that was not considered a lot of money to spend like 3-4 quid on things. Like, obviously, I was using pocket money, so it was I didn't have much. I couldn't go in and buy a lot of them, but it meant I could consistently go and, like, if I really wanted to buy a model that was, different, then I could just buy a single one of them. I could just be like, I fancy painting some dwarves, so I can buy 2 of them in a blister.
You've got to think about it from a business sense as well, where because the lizard brain loves that little hit of dopamine where you go in and you can buy something with your own money. You feel like a grown-up. You feel like a big, cool guy as a little kid going into a big, cool shop and buying a dude with a chainsaw. You think that's awesome. And then you buy one that you just think is cool, and then that sparks your interest in a whole new army, and you're like, shit, this is what I want now. This is awesome. And then I remember when I was at school, before I really got into it, the guys in my school they'd put their money together and buy a white dwarf, and they'd sit there and they'd drool over it for hours. They would just sit there and be like, one day I'm going to get this fucking thing. One day I'm going to get that, blah. And then they'd go and they'd spend like pocket money on little like dwarf, like, like you, Wib, that kind of thing. And then just dream about one day owning like a stomper or whatever.
One day I will own one rhino.
Yeah, fully.
But even though I'm 10 years later, where the blisters thing is kind of mostly gone, and I didn't get pocket money in the traditional sense. It was like, here's 20 quid for your birthday. Okay, I want to spend it on Warhammer. I can walk into the store and buy anything I want, short of a battle wagon and
short of vehicles. I
could buy a truck. You could buy a truck for 20 quid. I think they were 18 at the time.
Nearly buy a dreadnought for 20 quid.
Yeah, genuinely, you could walk in and there was a Warhammer shop in our major shopping centre, and I could just go in there, wander in, poke my head round, and I probably wouldn't buy something every time, but there was a guarantee of I could.
Yeah,
I could.
Yeah.
And I had the option of, oh, I could get boys, or I could get storm boys. Oh, they're new. Oh, looters. I really got shot off the board last year. I could do some looters. And I could sit there drafting army lists. And I used to write my army list on a piece of scrap paper by hand. Because Battlescribe wasn't a thing back then.
We had to write down our points costs and add them up individually, kiddos. It was hell.
No.
It's not like today where you don't even have to add up how much the crack grenades you decided to take with you
crack
cost.
grenades. Oh my god.
Yeah, so genuinely, it was I yearn for that kind of time when you can just walk in and think about getting something.
Yeah.
And I know and I get that, and the business model is the same as it was then. Obviously, things have changed a lot structurally and things like that. But in terms of the model is there are Moxleys you can buy on the shelf and this is what you do. That hasn't really changed. But now, if I'm a kid getting 20 quid for my birthday...
You can buy a paintbrush.
I can buy... So if I go back with my Orcs example, I can buy a Pain Boy.
Oh, don't! I'm just looking at some stuff, and it's like, oh, you can buy for £20. You can't even buy Acadian Castellan. Like, he's £24.
And if I was playing my new armies, like Tau, for 20 quid, I'm just going to put Warhammer website into sort by ascending price and cheapest up.
Let's get ready.
So I can't even buy an ethereal. I'd be 50p short.
50. Oh my god.
Yeah. I can't buy anything. I can't even buy fucking Croot Hounds. Fucking Croot Hounds are £26.
I mean, okay, so like
fucking Croot Hounds.
I don't like the snap fit models because I've just been using actual like I've been using the other types as like the normal sprues for so long. I hate it. I don't like it. It feels like it really limits your variation. But I do think they're really good. I mean, like our niece and nephew. I mean, our nephew doesn't care, but our niece, she's actually showing quite a bit of interest in our models, and she quite likes paint. She quite likes to paint them and stuff. And it's like, I've apologized to my brother because oh my god, that. It's gonna cripple the house. Let's be honest, and it's like I think the little snap fit ones. I think they're great because obviously
when they actually snap together.
When you don't have to file them.
I have.
Oh my god, that notwithstanding, I think that
in concept
those are cool.
They're very good.
In concept, they're great, and I think that's really good, especially for like youngins who get in because it's around 10 years old when kids start noticing tabletop war games and they start getting interested in this stuff, and then their friends start getting it. And I think like Snapfit and stuff, that should be significantly cheaper. They should be like basically like baby models, even for people like adults who are just like, well, I'm not sure if I want this, but I also do want to buy and paint like a new army. Just get a bunch of bring back the monopose. Not only are you trading on nostalgia there.
I mean, they did bring back the monopose, just in a new and slightly more infuriating form.
Not okay, like I said, but not like that. And like bring it back like that, and just be like, yeah, these are way easier to make. They're way better for kids with less less developed hand-to-eye coordination for painting and stuff. But you still get the joy of going in there with a $5 and going, I'm going to buy 5 Khorne Berserkers. I'm
just going to buy a cool guy.
Or just a cool guy. I think like that would be really... And honestly, like I love the new like combat patrols and boxes and stuff like that because it does save you so much money. But it is still so prohibitively expensive. Like when I started 40k, my army was stripped like Dark Angels from Wib's personal army. And we got
old Dark Angels army. Yeah,
that I didn't see a new model that I bought in store till I was already a fucking adult. And I'm not like, I wasn't weird. And it's like, everything was so much cheaper back then, and there's so many people who still couldn't afford it. And it's like, yeah, combat patrols are a great idea, but who has 80 to 100 quid to drop on a force like that? Especially if you don't know if you like them.
If you're a kid.
If you're a kid, what are you going to do?
I know, I just want to add the caveat here about I am aware of how Old Man Yells at Cloud, a lot of what I've said here today comes across.
But like also...
But none of what you said is wrong.
That's the thing,
I think... Like the other day, my niece was talking to me about miniatures. What I'll do is I'll go and prime one, a random one we've got knocking around. And so she can paint that. And she was sitting there holding what is actually from one of those 4th edition sets of the Blackreach Orc Boys.
It was adorable.
Well, I say Blackreach, but
she was holding it by the base and just kind of walking around with it, being like, "This is my guy."
Yeah,
it was
this is my little guy. But she asked me, she was like, can I paint like a big one, like a big thing? And I had to just be like, I'm like. If you keep doing it and you want to keep going, you want to keep doing it and sort of put this becomes a thing you really enjoy, then we can get you something bigger, because it is the thing of like just getting anything that is actually bigger is just so expensive, and like I can't afford to just drop that out of nowhere like on the whims of a small child. Like whereas if it was like like I could.
If she wanted a box of fucking, I don't know, Eldar or whatever, like 20, 30 years ago, then we'd be like, yeah, sure.
Because even then, like I remember, because when I started a Rhino, which was still the old Mark 1 Rhinos, because the new ones hadn't come out yet.
The classic baby.
Those were a tenner. It was a straight tenner to buy one of those. And though that was kind of that wasn't no money. Again, it wasn't like 1998. Inflation is a thing, but it was still significantly cheaper than they are now. Like I look at a tenner then was less money than the. How much is a Rhino now?
Just a standard Rhino. It's like
a Rhino
quid?
is £35.
What did you say?
Actually,
a tenner in 1998?
Yeah. Are you doing an inflation calculator?
Yeah, that would be £18.87 in today's money.
Yeah, there you go.
Twice inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, it's wild to me that the heresy version, the Deimos, that Rhino actually cheaper. They're $32.50 for some reason. The Chaos Rhino, exactly the same price, but comes with an extra sprue. I don't understand this, but it's strange. Oh, Jesus Christ! If you are unlucky enough to have decided that you want to play Sisters instead, those Rhinos cost £40.
Because go fuck yourself, I guess.
They are a different sculpt that's been more recently done.
I am just being flippant, honestly. But yeah,
but still,
it is frustrating.
I think it's that thing of like I think about how it's more. It would have been more justifiable to buy a little tank on a whim for my niece when I started, and now it's just like don't get me wrong, I would happily, if I had that money, I would happily drop that on my niece.
Yeah, but most
people, to watch her eyes light up, but I don't have that.
But most of us don't have that kind of money, especially kids like going, oh, I'll just fucking accidentally sit on this or whatever.
Well, it works out okay for us because we are adults and we spend a long time painting, modelling these things, getting them pristine and then using them in the game. And there's a lot of utility to them, which when you're younger, you might not necessarily get as much out of them. Like if you are painting things really quickly, I almost think that being a slow and finicky painter like me is the only way to get your money's worth out of Warhammer.
If you view it as like, okay, hour spent equates to money.
Unless you play constantly, of course.
Yeah,
basically. It's but something I found enjoyable, which is not less on a finance level, but on a sort of trying to shift the tone, because otherwise we're going to be
yelling about capitalism.
Sorry,
for so
everybody.
Long.
This is apparently just a thing that we all had a bee in our bonnet about, and we needed to get this out.
No, but something I've actually found quite enjoyable, thinking about doing things on a budget and thinking about paints, because paints are so bloody costly. Have you done the challenge that Games Workshop often does when you go in and they just like, hey, here's
a dude
5
to paint.
paints.
Yeah.
It's a keep your paint scheme as tight as you can sort of almost challenge. And that's something I've actually quite enjoyed working with a really tight paint scheme. So like when I did my Tau project quite recently, I did it in 6 paints, which was purple, white, gold, silver, black, and I think that I might have even done it in 5. No, I did red. I had some red bits. But yeah, I did it in 6 paints. And it's that kind of test of doing it with small numbers of paints, but trying to make something work is a really fun challenge, and actually it teaches you a bit better about color theory and color coordination than just having here's 100 paints, you can paint it however you like. Because what I found when that happens is you just, particularly with students, you just get a mess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it reminds...
we did a similar thing recently. Well, I say recently. That was like 2 years ago. Oh Jesus Christ, I'm old. Where we did a video about an old Space Marine paint set from the late 80s, and we each painted a miniature only using the paints that were in this paint set. I think there was 9.
Yeah, it was quite limited. Yeah.
And most of them were blue for some reason.
Probably it's just easier to mix blue, I think.
Yeah, but it is an interesting challenge because you realise that a lot of you can actually make do with a lot of things if you need to.
I mean, literally, this was just my experience at art college because I couldn't afford paints, so I was very into the minimalist, minimal color palette, which my lecturers thought I was being quite clever and snooty about, but I was literally just, I can't fucking afford orange. So it's going to be black and red. But that's the thing, it's like necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. Yeah. So I do think there is a lot of like creative bonuses to being limited, but also I want Angron for not 80 quid, you pricks. Stop it. Give me my boy.
But yeah, it's it's all frustrating, but yeah, there are ways and means you can make it cheaper.
Yeah,
and
obviously, I do think like the limited color palette.
Don't buy from Games Workshop directly. Like, you can just get it cheaper delivered to your house.
Okay, don't say that too loud. Okay, they'll get mad at us and stuff, and that'd be bad.
It's fine. They don't acknowledge our existence ever anyway.
Well, okay, you know what? Yeah. But, I also don't want to make life difficult for Tactica and Memblaze.
It's fine.
But no, there are ways you can get it cheaper. Obviously, you buy from there's third-party sellers that sell with a discount. So there are ways and means to get it more reasonable. So it's not all doom and gloom. I certainly didn't know. I presume there probably was third-party sellers when I was a kid. I presume they existed.
Probably, but it would have been very difficult for a child to navigate.
But like now, it's so easy. Just with the internet, you can just find this stuff nice and easy.
Yeah, if you want also, a professionally painted army.
never be unafraid of buying secondhand, of course, as well.
Yeah, you can always strip models if you like.
Yeah. Especially if you're buying old models, if they're old metal ones, some of those.
Soak those in Dettol for like a day or so, you will be laughing, dear.
Yeah.
That's basically where all my Space Wolves came from anyway.
They were sprayed in Fairy Power Spray, which used to be a really good ghetto paint stripper.
Yeah.
But really they changed the formula and now it doesn't work, unfortunately. But it used to be really good.
Yeah, it's probably because they were like, this is really carcinogenic, so...
And didn't smell anywhere near as bad as Dettol does.
Yeah. But I mean, at least there is an equivalent we can still use.
Yeah. You can buy real paint strippers that work really well.
Okay.
I've heard...
Okay, moneybags.
I have never done this because I can buy Dettol for £3.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you for
what
listening.
What is this podcast about again?
Warhammer 40k? Explicit. Yeah, no, nothing else. That's it. But no, thank you everybody for listening to us gripe about mana and the problems therein.
Yeah. And all being
it's
old and grumpy.
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you too are angry at money. There we go.
And the concept of it.
And the concept of money. There we go. I've just got you some solid engagement there, Tactica.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But yes, there isn't... Obviously, we covered the news before we went off on our tangents, and we are known for going on the tangents. I would normally at this point do a book feature, but I've just sort of made a start. I think I talked about it last time through on Ahriman, the new Ahriman novel.
I've heard that's pretty decent.
I haven't got far enough to say for sure whether it's pretty decent, but I mean, it's one of those where, I mean, there's a sentient warp storm that's nearly eaten the Thousand Suns fleet, and Ahriman was nowhere to be found, kind of thing.
When Ahriman is not on screen, everyone should be asking, where is Ahriman?
Not
I mean,
because
yeah,
you want him to
Ahriman's-
be there, but because you're worried about what's
Yeah,
gonna
you're
happen.
like, no, seriously, like, we need a bell on that person. That's terrifying.
He is. If you can't see him, he is doing some kind of scheme.
It's like me, I guess, but,
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Not like that.
Yeah, I mean, pocket dimension.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say pocket dimension. But I don't want to over spoil it because if I'm not careful, then. But still.
Unfortunately,
It's-
I have not read a Warhammer book in quite a while. The current book I am reading is a random book that I found in a secondhand shop from the 70s called Alice's World, where people come back to Earth after tens of thousands of years after having abandoned it. And there's like unicorns and the Sphinx and Captain Nemo are just all
chilling.
around. And everyone's like, this doesn't make any sense, right? This is utter lunacy. But it is also it's both real and not real at the same time.
I am currently, I've just started Betrayer.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
put
that's
that
a
out for you.
classic.
Because, hell yeah.
Well, you asked something about like wanting to read up some more about the World Eaters, and I went, well, I can give you the book that made me like the World Eaters. Well, I liked them anyway, but like that made me go,
Yeah.
oh, actually, you can put depth into them. And all the jokes for years about Khan being a pretty nice guy actually became canon.
Dope
He's pretty-
AF.
He's as reasonable as a World Eater can be,
I think that World Eaters are just silly little guys. Just cheeky little men. Just, silly little goobers.
Little bunnies, little bunny
Little
guys.
bunny guy. How could you be mad at a little bunny? So yeah,
The
that's...
murder. Oh, the murder. Yeah, it's all the murder. Yeah.
Oh, they're allowed a little bit of murder.
How far have you got in that book, actually?
Literally just started it.
Oh, okay.
When he's like, I was there the day Horus slew the Emperor. That's a book joke. I'm very smart.
Yeah, I'll get you reading the whole of the Horus Heresy series, a thing even I haven't done.
Yeah, no, I have
Because I can't be asked.
I have housework to do. So that's not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you, Neve, have you actually read the whole of the Horus Heresy series, just out of interest?
No.
I'm not saying,
I'm going to be
you
honest.
should have.
I've read the first 3.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Because I just have not got the time.
That
It's
is
a gargantuan time sink. I fully
Well,
get
it's
it.
not just that; it's also the sheer amount of cost as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of cost,
No, I know.
No, it's so much. It is. There's so many books
but-
there that
Yeah,
just
yeah.
logistically, it's
isn't it
difficult.
50 or something? I can't remember.
50 or 60,
Yeah,
depending on
easy,
how
yeah.
you class it. But it's like there's so many of them, and it's so long that it's just not been worth the investment.
Yeah.
Because especially with the fact that Remlays gets all the books really quickly and organised and has his agents, and also will be reading them because everybody has to. He has to really. Then there isn't the time for me to do it. There's just no need because I know I'm going to hear about it through Remlays anyway.
Yeah,
almost.
I would be intrigued to know how many people have actually read every single one, because it is one of those things where, yeah, it's just consuming a piece of media. There's nothing fancy about it, but still, that's a lot of books about the same topic to have read. I space out my things of reading explicitly non-Warhammer stuff, so that I don't get too my brain doesn't get too affixed to one thing and get sick of it.
You get burnt out if you do that, unless you're a magic person who can do that. But a lot of
Not
us
everyone's-
can't. So
I just know how my brain works with these things, But no, I just wondered because I know I feel like there's obviously a bit of pressure in the sort of realms that we sit in to have read everything, to have watched everything.
but it's really unreasonable to expect.
But
that.
it's impossible. No one.
Yeah,
kind of
I carve out my niche in reading AOS literature.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
my
yeah.
area, and I've also, I've really taken to Warhammer Crime.
I
Enjoy
need to
reading
get started
those.
on that stuff. It looks so good.
It is. It really is. So I've taken to reading a lot of that, and then, like, what's the other stuff? Like, stuff I've sort of been the spokesperson for Dawn of Fire, the new sort of 40k timeline series, and then I just jump around wherever I know Redmaze probably hasn't gone first. Like, I knew I wasn't going to read the Exorcist novel. I knew that. That was just off the table. So I went for Araman because I'd read the others, and it seemed sensible for me to do that. I sort of pick my books based around, one, what looks cool, but two, what am I going to get a good podcast discussion about? What's going to be something that would be good to bring to the table? So Death Welder, which I did as a recent review, is what happens as a world dies to the Tyranids, like as they consume it, but you're still there. What happens? Excuse me. So that was a really interesting one to go and read, and I ended up reading that really, really quickly, really enjoyed it. And there are others, I've forgotten half their names now, but where you're like, that's got an interesting concept or an interesting thread, or it's going in a place that I've wondered about. So I want to read it, but there's some that are just like, this sounds cool. So yeah, I'm not saying I pick my books based on Remlays. That sounds really weird, but I pick my books based on this show.
Yeah.
I don't read Hot 40k and AOS books just for pleasure. I do enjoy reading them, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I read them for this show because I expect that I'm going to feed them back. So I need to think of something that's going to be interesting and also do go to different places. Like, one of the really good ones I read not that long ago was Children of Teclis, which was Lumineth versus Ideneth versus Ossiarch. And what happens when the two spawns of Teclis, the Lumineth and the Ideneth, cross paths, and what happens. That's really interesting to me as an Elves player, as an AOS player, so I really wanted to read it. On the flip side, there's some that are like the Krieg novel. There's a question in the previous episode saying, what's your least favourite meme in 40k? And I think Shovels is a really good one as a worst meme. And I don't care about the Kriegers because they've been memed so hard that even though they're getting a full army next year of minis, I don't actually care, and I'm never going to pick them up.
Yeah, I get you.
So it didn't interest me to go and read it. In fact, let's just do that question as a final thing, because we were a bit late starting and I don't want to make Ramley's life too painful editing all of this. What is the worst meme in 40k?
All
And
of
on a
them.
light note.
All of them are terrible. There's not a single funny 40k meme.
There legitimately isn't. Oh god, they're all so
Mostly
bad.
because they're all from at least 15 years ago, and they're terrible.
No, wait, you know what? There's only one that's good, and that's the Dawn of War yell. That's the only good one. That is the only good
we'll
one.
accept that one. We'll
Yeah.
accept that one. No, yeah, I actually find it real because
I tend not to. I've had my brain poisoned because I've seen the dregs of Reddit use these memes in the most offensively disgusting ways, and I'm like, oh, well, I can't enjoy any of this. Thank you. So I don't think I
as
can
someone
be
who is
objective. Yes, I don't think I can be objective.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who isn't on Reddit,
A healthy individual.
Indeed. Things like the Black Templar memes can go rot in a fire.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to say any more before I say something that gets me in trouble.
We
Don't worry,
all
I'll
know
say
what
it.
you're thinking.
I already have
Yes,
a
we all
joke
know
about
it.
that written for an upcoming Black Templar video. Don't you worry.
Stay tuned.
Fair enough.
For so we can
Kitten
piss
memes.
people off.
I hate to say it. I'm sorry, Alpha. The kitten meme is old now. It's gone stale. I know it's not your fault, and it's an old meme. But you made you're the only person who did any Custodes content for about 25 years, and so the kitten meme is way overplayed. And I got a literal comment 5 days ago on a battle report with Custodes in it about a kitten joke. Like, it's not Alpha's fault that he made something utterly hilarious, and there are so many TTS memes like yes and boy and various others that we could go on all day. But the kitten memes are way, way, way overdone now.
Also, I've got to say for Remlay's digger knobs. That's fucking shit and terrible. My poor friend
one that's still
Remlay.
funny to me, actually one meme that hasn't been ruined, the fact that load-bearing walls are heretical is still funny.
Okay, that is funny. Because that's one you don't see very often.
I think that's it.
It's literally one book.
I think it's all about the philosophy of the joke. If you consider it a meme, it's probably not funny. If it's a running joke,
it's still probably not funny.
Still probably not funny, but it has a chance.
Yes, it's like Battenberg.
Okay,
I'm gonna be honest.
Tactica, just fucking
I'm not
stab
sure.
me next time. Why don't you go? Oh my fucking god!
I think that only retains amusement because out of seeing Snipe be aggravated by the concept of Battenberg, I think the inherent funniness of Battenberg.
You
has long since
literally
dissipated.
asked me today when we were like grocery shopping, "Do you want cupcakes at Battenberg?" And I said, "Do you want a fucking divorce?" And you said, "Okay, yeah, that's fair. Battenberg is the worst thing ever, and anyone who thinks differently is a silly goose." Yeah, I said it.
What I will say, though, is that having got over a decade's worth of video content on the internet, you can go quite easily and look at what I think is funny. So if you disagree with me about all Warhammer memes not being funny, then you can make yourself feel better by seeing me not to be funny.
Also,
Absolutely.
can I just say, and this is my biggest fucking hate, this is the meme I hate the most because I have been personally affected by this fucking meme.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say, yep.
It's heresy, blam, because I remember when Wib and I got married, I asked him if he would kit bash a wedding topper for us, and he would have himself as an orc, and I would have myself in Mark IV wedding armor.
This was back when it was Forge.
Nice.
We had to buy it from Forge World to get Mark.
Yeah, so it was a special occasion. And
Yes.
people love stealing that picture and refusing to credit either of us for that being a wedding topper.
Oh, it's the same as your comic Wib that everyone
Yeah,
forgets to credit.
exactly.
Oh, it'll all end in heresy. Yeah, that did the rounds.
Yeah. Always credit the artist, and if you don't know who the artist is, don't fucking post it on your page. Thank you very much, GG. And like I saw it a while ago on Reddit, and literally all the comments were heresy, brother, get the flamer, and it's like, wow, that's so cute. Maybe you could think of something interesting to say, but okay.
Hey, that's a thing connected to someone's wedding. Maybe they might actually appreciate
the fan
those jokes.
fiction in the comments was hilarious. It's like, oh, bet the missus was furious. It's like brother, I asked him to make it for me. Don't fucking do that. You don't know. And it was just like, oh yeah, bet the missus absolutely hated that. Oh, but my missus wouldn't marry me. And it's like, okay, you are obviously going through something, and I'm very sorry for you. But what? But yeah,
But yes,
brother, get
absolutely,
the flamer. Heresy, blam, fuck off.
Yes, that's a good one. And on that, shall we blam that heretical meme and end the episode?
Tactica, oh
Yes,
my
we
god,
should.
girl.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. My favourite party trick with the students is simply they say something stupid and I twist it and tell them to get on with their work. Like, what was it? I had one. It was like, oh, I've forgotten what it was now. But literally, they say something, and I usually use that word, the last word of the sentence, or something they were saying, and literally just flip it around and say, right, and just roast them with it. Admittedly, my favourite one is when they're all gossiping about who fancies who, and I just go, this isn't Love Island, you know, this is physics.
Oh god, my favourite
We
one.
can talk about certain kinds of attraction, but not the ones you're interested in.
Fuck off, that's
Wib.
awful. My favourite one is when like I have the dad kind of sense of humour, where it's like if one of them's like, oh man, for real, this is bussin' no cap, and I'm like, yes, my fellow skibbity, I find this quite gyat, king of Ohio, am I right? And they'll go, I just don't want to use slang anymore, and I'm leaving.
Yeah, my favourite is, can anyone smell waffles?
I don't know that one.
I do not know this.
Because they're waffling.
Oh god, okay. That's waffly versatile of you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we shall bring episode, I've completely forgotten the
208.
fucking number, but thank you, Snipe. Episode 208 of Adeptus Podcastus to a close. We know it wasn't the standard fare. I know I'm normally supposed to be the calming, stabilising influence when Remlays and everyone else goes on tangents, and I keep the show running in a straight line. That didn't happen today, and I don't even care. I'm not even sorry. I'm so sorry, Remlays, if this tanks, but that's just the way it's gone. This is what happens when you let me get Snipe and Wib and you don't turn up.
Build yourself.
We don't have each other to control each other.
Build yourself
I
a
don't
bridge
realise how
and
much...
get over it. I'm
Yes, I don't
dabbing.
realise
You
how
can't
much
see,
really-
but I am dabbing.
God. Yes, I don't really realise how much Remlays moderates me as much as I moderate the programme. I think I hadn't really realised until I had to run the show on my goddamn own.
If it
You did
helps,
great. It was amazing.
If it helps, this isn't the most derailed a podcast we've been on has been in the last month. So,
Which is not a value,
Yeah.
a thing of value. Or like,
And to be fair, we all remember episode 100, right?
I drink to forget episode 100. It was amazing. Oh my god.
It was. Yeah, we'll never be able to do. I doubt we'll ever do something like that again. But
You've done it once,
we
and
ever,
that's enough.
yeah,
We
I
did
think
it twice. We did it
I
for
think
50
one
as
of
well.
those existing
yeah.
in the world is enough.
Yes. So we will stop talking and let Remlays get to the edit. So you can put up a sad dinosaur picture or
We
something,
love you,
Remlays, and just be like
Rem.
the pain of editing the episode. So yes,
Yeah,
thank you
sorry,
very
Rem.
much for watching. It has been a pleasure as always to talk to you, Snipe and Wib. And please, can I just get a Misanthropod insight sometime this month? or sometime this decade?
We are working on it. Don't you worry.
Yay! So we will see you all very, very soon. Until then, this has been me from Tactica Imperialis.
I've been Snipe from Snipe and Wib.
I have been Wib, also from Snipe and Wib.
And we will see you all next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.